Jai Jagannath. Welcome to our study session on Bhagavad Gita. And last time we were having some general overview of the chapters. We also discussed about the sannyasa yoga, but I think we can go systematically. So if there is any question, just stop me. Let's see, we can go. As soon as possible, I'm planning to make the English version of the study guides. Still not done, but as soon as possible. So, the Bhagavad Gita, we have seen the various chapters. The first chapter is the Arjuna Vishada Yoga, and it is showing how Arjuna is concerned and worried and sad about the situation of the war that the Pandavas didn't want. Then chapter 2, the Sankhya Yoga, started to discuss about the difference between the Kshetra and the Kshetragya. So, okay. Okay. So we can continue with the second chapter. Okay, so the first chapter presentation, the introduction of the first chapter, and then we have the presentation of the second chapter. We have already seen how in the first chapter of Gita, Arjuna is showing a great hesitation. He's showing that he doesn't want to fight this war because he knows a lot of good people will be losing their life and society will be disrupted and damaged. But Krishna tells Arjuna that this is not the point. The point is that society needs to be defended from the bad people. Okay, so this is chapter 2, Sankhya Yoga. It's a brief summary of the entire discourse of the Gita. So the evolution of thought. Okay, so Krishna, the first verse of chapter 2, Krishna speaks to Arjuna, who was overwhelmed by compassion, depressed, and with eyes filled with tears. The Lord said, Arjuna, from where such contamination is coming to cover your consciousness at this critical time? It is unworthy of an Arya. It does not lead to the higher planets, but is the cause of infamy. This is a quite famous verse. Kutas tva kashmalam midam vishame samupastitam anarya justamas vargyam akirti karmarjuna. So this is the commentary, we just skip it. Verse 3. O son of Pritha, Arjuna, do not allow yourself to fall into such a state of impotence, because this state is not befitting you. Give up such petty weakness of heart and get up, O Parantapa. So there are a lot of people who think that in order to be a devotee of Krishna, one has to be a very soft person, a very sensitive, soft person, always thinking about the Rasa Leela and the happy dancing of Krishna with the gopis, which is perfect, but not when you are standing in the battlefield. unfortunately, this is not, this weakness of heart is not approved by Krishna. Because when Arjuna said, okay, lots of people are fighting, they're bad people, they're ruining society, they're creating so much problems, then Krishna could have told Arjuna, yeah, well, these people are bad, but, be transcendental. Don't worry about them. Don't get involved in these stupid things. Just sit back and chant the japa and think and meditate about me playing with the gopis in Vrindavan. That's not what Krishna told Arjuna. So we have to understand that the superficial devotees are described as prakrita sahajas. This means that we always remember Krishna and his love with for the gopis and for all the people of Vrindavan and all the people of Dwarka and for us as well. But because we are on the battlefield, we have to do our duty. We need to work. We need to engage ourselves. This is what Krishna is telling Arjuna in Bhagavad Gita. So the answer is not just sitting in a temple and ringing the bells, as Bhaktivedanta Swami told his god brothers. The actual point of devotional service to Krishna is to follow Krishna's instructions. So the Bhagavad Gita is the most important instruction of Krishna. So if we want to be devotees of Krishna, but we're not willing to follow the most important instructions of Krishna, how can we say we are devotees of Krishna? So we have to give up the petty weakness of heart, and do what is required to do. Within Dharma, of course, because it's not that whatever we do, thinking it's devotional service will be okay. We cannot put the label of devotional service on adharmic activities, because that's not going to work. But, considering wisely, reflecting wisely on over all the factors of the situation, the circumstances, we should take the right decision, make the right choice. Okay, so verse 4. Arjuna said, O Madhusudana, O Arisudana, how will I engage in fighting against Bhishma and Drona, throwing arrows against them who are rather to be worshipped by me? Okay, this is also a very important point. Sometimes we don't want to take a different stand because it seems that we would disrespect our elders, our gurus, our the people we are respecting, the people who we love and respect. How can we fight against these people? This is Arjuna's question. Then we have verse 5. Killing teachers who are such great personalities, it would be better to maintain myself by becoming a mendicant in this world, even if they are victims of bloodlust. Even if they're ready to kill or get what they want. They're still my teachers, and any benefit or pleasure from this killing will be tainted with blood. So, Atvarta kabamstu. Hatva artha kaman. So, because these people, they are lusting after fighting to get some benefit. Okay, so hatva artha kaman. Okay, not a good position. Verse 6. We do not know which is better, whether to win over them or to let them win over us. We should not desire to live after killing these followers of Dhritarashtra, who are standing in front of us. Okay. Any question until now? Any objection, elaboration, doubt? Nothing.
Yeah, I have one.
Please.
Like here we can, like in case of this Kurukshetra war, we can clearly see that Adharma was on the side of Kauravas. So fighting Bhishma and Drona was okay. But sometimes, like, it is difficult to judge
Yeah,
whether it's Adharma or not. Like, both on
of
both sides
course.
you can see Dharma.
Of course, of course.
So
Well,
how to
yeah,
take stand that time?
exactly. That's why we need proper knowledge and realization. And that's why we need the Guru Sadhu Shastra and Paramatma. We know when someone is not behaving according to Dharma. They can declare that they are the representatives of Dharma. They can even declare they are the sole representatives of Dharma. But we can see if it is true or not. For example, the basic, like we will see in chapter 2, one has to be aware. These people who claim to be, acting for Dharma, we need to see what kind of actions they're doing, what kind of mentality they're doing. We see in Gita is a Vidya Vinaya Sampane Brahmane Gavi Hastini Sunil Chaiva Swapakacha Pandita Samadarshinaha. If they have not overcome the prejudice of bodily identification, they're not working for Dharma Vidya. If they're not sincere, if they're not honest, they're not working for Dharma. This is the line. If they are, they don't tolerate the questions, difficult questions to which they have no answer. If they get angry, because you are asking too many questions, then they're not working for Dharma. If they don't show honesty, compassion, purity, cleanliness, cleanliness mostly in the mind, because Kali Yuga, how much cleanliness you can have in the body, but at least the intention to keep pure, to remain pure, to keep purifying, and tapas means serious engagement. If they don't show with their behavior these 4 basic pillars of Dharma, how can we believe them when they claim that they are representing Dharma? You see the point. Of course, there is always a choice involving several factors. So we have to consider all the factors before judging people. Okay? But what is the benefit of mistreating innocent beings? For what? For lust, for greed, for power, hunger, for profit, for fame, for social position. It's not, it's not justified. You can, for example, if we consider all the factors, you can disregard, the lesser, the lesser evil, in order to fight against the greater evil. But how you establish what is a greater evil? So, disregarding the lesser evil to fight the greater evil is, for example, when Krishna told Yudhishthira to confuse Drona by saying that his son was dead, Ashwatthama was dead. So the feelings that Drona had for his son, and the technical, lie that Krishna was recommending to say, were the lesser evil in this case. Because Drona was making a huge mess. Drona was unjustly supporting Duryodhana, and he could not be stopped in any other way. So, he had to be neutralized. So even if, we had to accept some lesser evil of telling a lie, telling that his son was dead when it was not a fact. But we have to consider the factors, we have to consider the situation, But why telling lies about things that are not giving any benefit to the universe? Why, confusing people? Like we have examined already the fact that the sampradaya, the so-called Saraswata Brahma Madhva Gaudiya sampradaya, is not exactly very truthful, But it's okay, because we can understand that the circumstances were, required this little, creative elaboration. Because in those times, the Gaudiya Vaishnavism was in shambles. And on the other hand, the Shankaracharya line, Shankaracharya mass, were having all the power, and they were propagating also deviant conclusions. Because it is true that some people in the Shankara line came up with actual Mayavadi conclusions, like that, when God descends as avatar, he has a material body. So when Krishna, Rama, and the other avatars are actually subject to the material gunas and material illusion, that is not a good conclusion. But some people in the Shankaracharya Math, they brought it up, and they were spreading it. And they were also spreading some other points that, in fact, were very different from what Adi Shankar taught originally. And because at that time, in the times of when these imaginative sampradaya lineage was presented, the devotees of Chaitanya needed to get some dignity and respect so that they could be more credible. So of course they wanted to present some, credentials, but that is not something that was supposed to be permanent. It was something like saying that Ashwatthama was dead. It's not something that you do normally, regularly. You tell people that their family is dead so you can take advantage of them. But it was what we call emergency dharma, apat dharma. It's an emergency. Okay, yeah, well, then we have to adapt to the situation so that the main principles of dharma can be protected and the greater evil can be avoided. Does that answer your question?
Yes. So basically, we need to have knowledge of shastras to
Exactly. Yes.
understand, what is greater evil, what is less evil, or what is greater good or less good. So on
Exactly.
that way, we can choose.
Exactly. We need to overcome superficiality. Because especially in Kali Yuga, people tend to be superficial. They tend to, ask very superficial questions and look at things very superficially. On Quora, so many times I get annoyed by people asking very superficial and foolish questions, about theology and philosophy. They call it mythology, and they think that, they ask who is more powerful, if Vishnu or Voldemort. They think that Vishnu is a fictional character from TV serials. So that's very superficial. Now, in other ideologies, religions, especially in the Abrahamic religions, being superficial is encouraged. People are supposed to be superficial. Followers are supposed to be superficial. They just need to believe. If they don't believe, it doesn't matter how stupid is the thing that they're supposed to believe. If they don't believe, they should be killed. It's not that the discussion, the debate, the vivarta is encouraged. No, it's not encouraged at all. So, when you have a very simple mind, if you follow a simple philosophy, chant Hare Krishna and be happy. Okay, why do we need a guru or a movement or a temple to chant Hare Krishna and be happy? Everybody knows the Hare Krishna mantra. Who needs these people then? You see what I'm saying? If you want to go deeper and understand it deeper, we need to go beyond the organization. Like the first verse of the Bhagavata Purana, you say, Dharma projita kaitavotra parava nirmatsaranam satam. Dharma projita kaitavo. This thing of the, not really sincere forms of religion. We don't need them. We don't want them. We want to go deeper. We want to do things seriously in a solid manner so we can actually understand who is, supporting Dharma and who is actually, damaging dharma. You see the point. So when, for example, someone is coming and telling, oh, we are the only, authorized, representatives of dharma, and apichet sudurachara bhajate bhamananya bhak sadhureva samantavya, means, they can do whatever they want. They can, rape and mistreat and kill innocent people because for no good reason at all, just because they didn't agree with them, on something, just because they were not happy, convinced about the bad answers they were getting. So how is that being a sadhu? Sudurachara. Achara means behavior, but that means, I think we mentioned it already, is achara means this following the rules of the Shastra very strictly. So the achara is, like, for example, in Tantra, there is a section on the rituals, a section on the dhyana, and a section on achara. So achara means yama niyama. Even if someone is not able to actually follow all the yama niyama, because of bad habits, previous bad habits, so, sometimes it's not so, serious about them. Okay, but that person, that sadhaka will have to purify himself. It's not that he can continue to do whatever he wants and present himself as the greatest devotee. It's not working. What is that other verse? Yetvantagatam papam. Antagatam papam means when someone has stopped all the bad behaviors, the papam, all the negative, damaging behaviors, punya karmanam, only doing punya. At that point, you can become a devotee. Sadhu means a good person, doesn't mean a devotee. A sadhu is anyone who is good, is fundamentally has good intentions and, good desires. He wants to do something good. If he's not following all the rules yet, okay, he's still a good person. Because he is samyak samasita. He is samyak samasita. He is engaged in purifying himself. He is not banking on the fact that because he goes around and says that he is a big sadhu, he can do whatever he wants. In fact, this is one of the 10 offenses to the chanting of the holy name, to continue committing bad activities on the strength of the holy name. Means, okay, I'm a devotee, I'm chanting the holy name, so I can do whatever I want, because I am the greatest sadhu, the greatest bhakta, greatest one, even if my behavior is very bad. You see the point, you see the problem. Okay, we have a communication gap. Okay, no problem. So we go on. Arjuna continues, verse 7. My nature is now afflicted by weakness. Therefore, I'm asking you to clarify the confusion of my mind about dharma. To tell me without a doubt what is the best thing to do. I am your disciple and I take shelter in you. Please instruct me. Okay. Anything? I hear someone came back.
Yeah. I got dropped off. Yeah, no, fine.
Okay. No, actually, I was asking if the elaboration was still clear.
Yes, it was
Okay.
clear.
Good, thanks. So this is 8, and still, Arjuna is lamenting from the previous chapter. I do not see how I could disperse this sadness that is drying up my senses. even if I achieved on this earth itself the unchallenged position of a prosperous ruler over the heavenly planets. Okay, the important thing is that Arjuna is not whining and complaining and bitching. He's not blaming others, he's not blaming the destiny, he's not blaming, Dhritarashtra or Duryodhana. He's just saying, well, these people, they want to fight at any cost, because they want the power, and Dhritarashtra is a bad guy. But he's not harping on the fact it's all Dhritarashtra's fault. So this is important. Sanjaya Uvacha. Sanjaya said, after thus speaking to Rishikesh, Krishna, Gudakesh Parantapa, Arjuna said, O Govinda, are we not engaged in battle? And then became silent. O Bharata, descendant of Bharata. Rishikesh smiled and spoke these words to him, the depressed Arjuna, while they were between the two armies. And this is the first of the most important teachings of Krishna in the second chapter. Sri Bhagavan Uvacha. Although you speak wisely, you are lamenting for something that should not make you sad. Those who really know the truth do not grieve for the dead or for the living. Now, I don't know how many people within the Hindu community will be ready to digest this verse at the funeral. Because, they don't understand. They are still very attached. So we have several examples. I think it's in the story of Priyavrata. In the Bhagavatam, so Maharaj Priyavrata had this young son who was killed. Let me check if I am correct or not. If any one of you remembers Priyavrata's story.
Was it Indrajita?
No.
Chitraketu Maharaj. Chitraketu Maharaj?
Yes,
His
it
son.
was Chitraketu, not... yes, not Priyavrata. Right, it was Chitraketu. So you remember the story. Chitraketu, his young son died, and Chitraketu was totally distraught, completely distressed. And he was praying and lamenting and begging God, why my son had to die, blah, blah. So Narada Rishi goes there and says, okay, let's see what your son wants to say. So Narada Rishi called back the soul of the boy into the body. And the boy was looking around saying, why you call me back? Chitraketu said, oh, because I'm your father, you see, I'm suffering so much because you're my son, blah, blah. And, the boy said, which father? I had so many fathers. Why are you so distraught? And in the same way, I think also Yama came out to console the wives of one Asura. There is another episode on the Bhagavata Purana. I think when Hiranyaksha was killed, and also when Kamsa was killed. So, there are lots of very good instructions on the Shastra about this topic. They're repeated again and again. That we should not lament for those who are dead or those who are living. Sometimes living people are suffering more than the dead people. Usually that is the fact, that is the case. So this is the first big, solid, heavy instruction of Krishna. We should not, the wise, those who really know the truth, do not grieve for the dead or for the living. Easy but difficult. And we have verse 12. Na tvevaham jatu nasam, na tvam neme janadipaha, na chaivana bhavishyama sarve vayam athak param. Certainly there was never a time when I did not exist, and you and all these chieftains of men have always existed as well. Also, none of us will cease to exist in the future. So the great fear of death that has been established on our contemporary society is actually not compatible with the Bhagavad Gita, with the Vedic teachings, with the Hinduism. In fact, we should never be afraid of death, because we will not really die, only the body will die. So we should always be ready to go. Whatever we have done, we have done. That when our number is called for the flight, we have to board the flight and go. That's perfectly normal, perfectly okay. And if we really understand the concept of reincarnation and karma, then we don't have any anxiety, because we carry our luggage. If at any time we want to get our luggage lighter, we can just clean up and discard whatever is not useful anymore. We stop identifying. We stop the ahankara and mamatva. This is the purpose of reincarnation. We take so many bodies that at some point we understand that identifying with the present body is stupid, because we have so many different bodies. Who are we? Is it clear, huh? Okay.
Yes.
Excellent. Any comment?
Yeah, in theory we know, but when it comes to practical, it's difficult to do.
Yes, exactly. This is the main problem. We have to go from theory to practice. And that's why I'm saying it's simple but not easy. Simple and easy are two different things. Yeah. It's simple, but we really have to apply it. This is why it's not easy to achieve moksha. Because, in fact, it's very simple to achieve moksha. You just have to drop all the luggage. You become free from the luggage. Moksha, mukti means be free. Free from what? Free from the luggage you're carrying around. You just drop it. It's it's not a complicated issue. You just have to drop it. And what is this luggage? The ahankara and mamatva. Identifications and attachments. We can still continue to use whatever piece of luggage we find useful, but we have to be ready to give it up at any time, because it's time to go. So the instruments, will decay and disgregate anyway, because we lose everything. Everything is lost. In this world, everything is temporary. Everything is lost. So, we should be ready to drop it before it is taken away from us. You see the point. And then where is the suffering? There is no more suffering. Okay, so 13. The embodied soul who lives in this body passes from one form to the other, as from childhood to youth to old age. And similarly, at the end of this body, he passes on. A wise person is not confused by this passage. Again, we are not the body. We are not the baby, the little child, the toddler that we were. The body, the 5-year-old body we had, it's not there anymore. Where is it? When you get old, you don't have the body, the same body you had when you're, in the full bloom of youth. Your full strength, and you could do so many things. When you get old, it's already a victory if you can get up in the morning and do anything to take care of yourself. At some point, most old people need someone else to take care of them, So where is that body that could take care of everything? It's gone. So, this is important. And we pass on to another body, we build another body. We don't become another person, of course. But we develop a different body, a new body. And if we identify with that body, we get confused. Okay. A wise person is not confused by this passage. Unfortunately, the circumstances, the society, the family, the school, the religion, everything can help or obstruct this, proper understanding and proper passage from theory to practice. In Kali Yuga, we have to make a little more effort, but it's the same process. Okay. Whenever you want, you can stop me, huh? Okay. 14. A son of Kunti. The contact of the senses with the sensor object causes joy and distress, just like cold in winter and heat in summer. Such feelings are temporary. They come and go, O descendant of Bharata, and you should just try to tolerate them without being confused and distracted from your duty. So the Sanskrit is also famous, and we can learn it. We can keep it in memory. Matras parsas tu kauntaya, shitoshna sukha dukkadaha, agama bhaina nityas tam stitikshasva bharata. So joy and distress are limited perceptions, and they're temporary. They have a beginning and an end. The bigger problem is the mental suffering and the mental excitement that come from the contemplation of these joys and pains. So that is the real problem. The real problem is in the mind, not so much in the body. We know that through the proper control of the mind, we can also vastly control our body. And this is shown by the real yogis. So the important thing is that the mind is properly detached. So it doesn't mean that we have to reject the joys. We just take them as prasad, as blessings from God. Okay, something good happened. Okay, we are happy that thing happened. But we are not attached, so if it stops happening, we are not, confused. It doesn't happen every day. Okay, so let's go on. 15. O best among men, one who is not distracted by all these feelings and is always equally balanced in suffering and in joy is a sober person, and he can aspire to immortality. Okay, so many people got this kind of Abrahamic delusion that when good things happen to you is because God is happy with you, it's a blessing of God, and when bad things happen to you is God's punishment. So you have to pray to God, and if you make God happy, everything will be peachy and perfect in your life. Nothing bad will ever happen to you. This has never been proven by facts in any group of human beings. And Krishna is not saying that. Krishna could have told Arjuna, if you are nice and you only do good karma and you please God, only good things will happen to you. No, he didn't say that. He didn't say that. He said, joys and sorrows are coming for everyone. So we just have to be sober, not being confused, distracted. Right, this is interesting. Nasato vidyate bhavo, na bhavo vidyam sata. Wait a minute. Ubha, okay. Hubayorapi drishtvantas tvananyotat anayostatva darshimihe. Those who see the truth know that what is illusory, asat, illusory, temporary, bad, whatever is asata. Na asato vidyate bhavo. Those who see the truth know that what is asat will not continue to be, will not be, while what is sat will never be destroyed. They have carefully observed both things and reached this conclusion. So here Krishna is saying that the temporary forms of material nature are asat. Not exactly bad, but not eternal, not useful, not real. They're maya, illusion. Okay. Avinasi tu tadvidhi, yena sarvamidam tatam, vinasam avyayasya nakaschit kartum arhati. Know that what is imperishable, which means the spirit, the soul, the Atman, that pervades all this universe of bodies, all this matter, all this material world. And no one will be able to destroy what is imperishable. So, the Atman Brahman can never be destroyed. What is destroyed is just the material, the temporary material manifestation, not the real, the real existence. Okay, and we have.
Now,
Yes.
one question in the previous verse. So, pervades everything. Can we say that for like non-living things also that?
Sorry, I don't understand. The
Yeah. Oh, sorry.
non-living things are the temporary forms, you mean?
So, can we say that the spirit pervades that also?
Oh, of course. The
Okay.
spirit is omnipresent, sarvagata, because the Atman is Brahman. Now we know that even God is in the atoms as well of material nature. The material nature is a Shakti, and Shakti is always together with the Shaktiman. So in all the atoms, the Paramatma is there with the Shakti is there. This is the basics of nuclear power, the nuclear bombs. There's so much energy in each and every atom of matter. Now, of course, it's not exactly the same for all the forms of all manifestations of material nature. Some objects are more, inert than others. Like, for example, when the wood has been cut, a table or a chair don't have the jivatma, one jivatma controlling the body. But the power for life, for manifestation of life, is inside all matter. So, for example, we can see it more clearly in the human body or the animal body, where each cell is a living entity. Of course, these cells are producing also inert matter. Like, not all the cells are alive. Like, for example, the hair, the nails of our body, when they grow too much, they are dead. They're dead matter. So we can cut them off and it's not a problem. But the moment when we cut them off, they start to disgregate. So whenever life leaves the Atman, the Jivatma leaves a body, the body starts to disgregate. The speed at which the material forms change depends on many factors. Like, for example, we know that crystals have a soul. Mountains have a soul. But again, a mountain has one individual soul that is we can call it the soul of the mountain. It's not exactly a deity, but we can say the spirit of the mountain. And then yet, within the mountain is composed by so many other things, of which many are living beings in their own right. So we have, individual, protozoa, monocellular living beings that we cannot see. So, yes, in a sense, everywhere, all things have the Atman, Brahman Atman. So does that answer your question?
Yeah. So in previous verse, it is talking about Brahman only, not Jivatma, right? It's
But the
the.
Jivatma is just a spark of the Brahman.
Mhm.
There is no difference. Like, these are the Mahavakyas in the Upanishads. Tattva Masi, Sarvakal Vidam Brahman. The Atman is Brahman. There is no qualitative difference. There is a quantitative difference in perception. But because Atman Brahman is perception, then there is a quantitative difference. But in quality, they're the same. So it's only the manifestation of consciousness that changes. You see what I'm saying? Like, for example, when someone is in a coma, it's not that they don't have a mind anymore. They simply cannot manifest it. Let's make an example with computers. If there is no electricity, the computer is not showing anything, but that doesn't mean that it doesn't have information inside the computer. There is no activity, there is no potential of manifesting activities. The activities are there, but they are not manifested. I think we had one meeting about the difference between vyakta and avyakta, manifested and non-manifested. This is a very important point.
Mhm.
It's a bit complicated. I understand. It's not easy to grasp because we only have, when we only have the experience of the tangible reality of material objects, it's difficult to imagine the non-manifested.
Yeah. I think same conclusion we made in that meeting also that
Exactly. Because that's the
it's
only
something to
conclusion.
realize only. It can't be
Yeah,
described in words.
exactly. We only have to realize it. We only have to see it. But in order to see it, the first step, we have to see ourselves as Atman, Brahman. Because if we don't see it in ourselves, we cannot see it in the other things and other people and objects and God. We cannot. Because we don't even know what we're talking about, what we're supposed to look for. If you've never seen gold, if you never tasted honey, how are you going to go out and look for gold or honey? Anyone can sell you some brass and and some glue. This carpenter's glue sometimes looks like honey. You know, if you don't have the proper experience, the proper realization, how can you even recognize what you're looking for? So this is the point of the Vyakta and Avyakta.
Mhm.
Okay. So 18. When you want to stop it because you want to go to dinner, you just tell me.
Okay, I think we can stop now.
We
We
can
can
stop
continue
now.
from 18.
Okay,
Yeah.
so we start again from 18.
18. Yeah.
In the meantime, if you have any questions, anything to propose for next time, that would be great. Uh,
I think we can continue with this. This is good
you
discussion because,
like this type of study we're doing?
yeah, yes.
Fantastic, excellent. I like it as well. Okay then, for this time, Jai Jagannath, we close this video.